Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be doing a type of deck tech, deck analysis and breakdown video of OP07 Ace. What we can look forward to coming out soon for Ace. And, this deck, ST13, I think it's about a month away for us guys over here in the West. So this is not very far away. Now, there are 3 cards in this deck that we are not going to be able to use yet that come out in OP07. And I do think they help push the deck into, like, the next tier. In fact, in the thumbnail of this video, it'll probably say, is OP07 Ace A tier? I don't think it's S tier, but I think it could be on the verge of A tier. And I think I don't think that's possible until it gets the cards it gets from OP07 that we're going to look at in today's video. So real quick, guys, let's go ahead and run through this. You know what you're getting into now. I'm going to run through the deck list, and then we're going to go through and look at some of the new cards it got. All right, and I'll read what the leader does after I read through the cards. So 4 Satori, 4 Hiyori, 4 Ace, the 2 cost, 4 of the Ace 5 cost, the yellow Ace 5 cost, 4 Garp, 4 Luffy 2 cost. It runs both of the 4 cost yellow Luffys at 4 ofs, 2 Yamato, 2 Pudding, 3 Boa Hancock, 4 of the new blue Ace, 1 Three Brothers Bond, 4 Sanji's Pilaf, and 2 Red Rocks. So right away, guys, I'm actually surprised it doesn't run any of that Raging Blade, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, because I feel like just being able, there's excuse me, there's a lot of cards that can hit that are 6 costs and under that just bottom deck them and get them out of your way forever, where your opponent can't recur them, like with Black Yellow Luffy or something, or even just yellow cards in general that have on KO effects, like whether it be Parasparrow or Kikanojo, just really solid. So I'm surprised he doesn't run that. But this deck, whoever piloted it, they got first place at some kind of flagship at a place called Bat Loco or Bato Loco, but Bato Loco, however you say that. So let's go ahead and dive into it real quick. I'm going to read what the leader does for those who don't already know what this leader does, because it is very important. You will not understand what's going on in the deck if you do not know what this leader does. So it is a Dawn ×2 activate main. Excuse me, guys. Activate main once per turn. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to 1 cost 5 character to the top of your life face up. So you do the top 5 search, and then you put the one of them that's a 5 cost character on the top of your life face up. Then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So those cards go away to the bottom of your deck, and then you have 1 card face up in your life. Now here's the catch. At the end of your turn, you have to trash all face up cards in your life. Okay? So you see how he kind of gains life, but not really. I think the only way you can gain life in this deck is through using Hiyori to flip the card, right? You can put the top or bottom card of your life in your hand, and then put up to 1 card from your hand on the top of your life stack. So in that way, you can take the card that's face up and put a new card there if you can't play out a card like Ace or Luffy with your 2 cost Ace and Luffy. I think there might be, let me see, this is the new ST13 Yamato, who's a 5 cost, 4,000 power rusher, 2k counter. On play, look at all your life cards, place 1 of the cards on the top of your deck, then return your life cards in any order. So this will kind of work in that way, where you can save a card that you can't get out of your life if needed, but at the same time, this isn't really gaining you a life like the Hiyori would be. What else? There might be, no, I think that's it. So the main card, like I said, if you're trying to gain life with this leader's effect, would be Hiyori. However, that's not what this leader is really trying to do. It's trying to put a card on top of your life that you can then generate value from. Okay, so for example, that would be like Luffy, Ace, or whatever. Well, I guess mainly Luffy and Ace. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the new cards coming out. I've already done a review of the ST13 stuff, so if you don't know what these cards up here do, the ST13 and OP06 stuff, you'll have to check out one of those videos or ask in the comment section below. So jumping straight to the 3 new cards in this deck, you have Monkey D. Luffy. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter, yellow, 4 Emperors, Egghead, Straw Hat Crew type character. And check out, those stats are nice, right? They're absolutely incredible, and it has the 5 cost. It's everything we need for this deck. But listen to this activate main, guys. You may place this character in your trash, and if your life is 2 or less, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Then draw 1 card. So it replaces itself on the field. And then if you get it from the trigger KO up to 1 of your opponent's cost 4 or less characters. Now that effect in black-yellow is just nuts, right? Because we want the cards in our trash anyway to get value from with our leader's effect later in the game. So in black-yellow Luffy, this effect is incredible. Really, really strong. And then just the way that it's KOing a 4 or less and drawing a card, guys, this is just a good card. 1k counter as well, 5 cost 6k. There's pretty much no downside to this card. And this was probably one of the main ingredients missing from blue-yellow ace in OP06. And there's one other card we're going to look at as well. Because think about it, before Ace got access to this card and this Ace card down here we're about to look at in a second, it only had 2 targets. It had like this Luffy and this Ace, which, yes, those are good cards, right? It's not like those are bad cards. It's just that's all it had access to. Well, now it has access to 2 more targets, so ultimately 8 more targets, right? 4 more Luffys and 4 more Aces. Okay, before we get to Boa Hancock, let's read the next card here, Ace. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter blocker. So right away, it's on rate for what we need for a card that costs 5. And then on top of that, on play, you're going to draw 2 and then return 2 cards from your hand to the top or bottom of the deck in the order of your choice. So you can put on the top or bottom of your deck in the order of your choice. That's really a big deal. That's a bigger deal than it might sound. Because if like say you had nothing but good cards in your hand that you do want, well, you could just draw it next turn if you don't need it right now, if it's a card without a counter, and keep the cards with counters in hand. You guys see where that's going. And again, it's a 5 cost 6k blocker, 2 card cycle. It's just absolutely incredible. And it's Ace. So you can use it with this Portgasti Ace card here. And this is kind of like this deck's version of Sabo, the black version of Dressrosa Sabo. Now, I'm not saying it's as good as Sabo, because Sabo is a literal draw 2, trash 2 cycle that can give all your characters KO until the end of turn. But this is still pretty good. Like, it's not like this is bad. You know what I mean? So very solid there. So last up is Boa Hancock. I'm starting to see this card in all kinds of different decks if they run blue. Pretty much any deck that runs blue right now is probably running this card in OP07. So it's a 6 cost, 8,000 power character with no counter, but again, 6 cost 8k, that is vanilla statted minus the counter. And then listen to this on play effect. Up to one of your opponent's characters other than the Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of their next turn. So again, up to one of your opponent's characters other than Luffy cannot attack until the end of their next turn. I think it's probably until the start of your next turn. I'm not sure if that's worded correctly, but anyway, bear with me. Then place up to 1 cost 1 or less character to the bottom of its owner's deck. So if they have like a Pudding on the board, if they have like a Suru, if they have, or what's her name, Tashigi, the 1 cost blue searcher Tashigi, any little 1 cost searcher card or something like that, or even like a 1 cost, well, this deck doesn't run any. Well, I guess it runs Garp. But there's also like the new 1 cost Makino that I think the black-yellow deck's going to run. All kinds of 1 cost cards. Well, this can just get that out of the way. Like, okay, let's just not even worry about that card anymore. And the best part is, when you play her, that card, whatever you want it to be, other than Luffy, is not attacking. Now, it cannot target leaders, but it can target any character. No cost restriction. So this character is incredible. This new Boa Hancock coming out in OP07, absolutely incredible. So that's pretty much the deck, guys. Like, that's what's going on. That's what we can expect in OP07 for Ace. I do tend to think that this is probably like a high B or low A tier deck now. I still think Black-Yellow Luffy has a little more resilience because of the fact that it's getting access to the black card pool with Gecko Moria and the black Sabo we were talking about earlier, the Sabo version of this card right here. Because, now I will say this, though. One of the huge perks of playing blue is you are going to have access to a card like Charlotte Pudding. And this card is just horrible. It leaves a horrible taste in your mouth going against this card if they get you with any more than 6 or 7 cards in hand. It's going to have access to this new form of, like, slowing down your opponent. And it's going to have access to Red Rock. Like, Red Rock is just an incredibly good card. It is running, this deck was running Sanji's Pull Off. That's probably the way to go. Draw 3 costs, draw 2. This is Divination or Pot of Greed for the players who, come from other card games. It's just a great card. It's just truly a great card. I'm surprised they're running just one of the Three Brothers Bond. Excuse me. Because, and I don't even know if this card is really all that great in a deck like Ace. Because Ace is already doing that every single turn by attaching 2 Dawn and activating the main. And like, there's a few cards I'm surprised they're not splashing in. Let me bring it up on the side over here and then bring it over. Y'all give me just a second. The card's name is Viola. And I think it's called Viola. Viola. And it is a yellow card. Yeah, here it is, guys. I'm going to just bring it over. Y'all give me just a second. I'm surprised the deck is not running this. This is a 2-cost blocker with 0 power, but 1k counter. And then, on play, you can turn all your life cards face down, or look at all your opponent's life cards and place them back in their life area in any order. So, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm surprised they don't run this card, because this could allow them to get further value from their leader's effect, just like Hiyori. But when this card comes into play, you're not losing a 2k counter in hand, you're establishing a blocker. Now, I get it. Right now, you know, Red-Purple Law is kind of like on the horizon, right? Like, we're probably going to see a little bit of that in OP06, but in EB01 and then OP07, Red-Purple Law will kind of be, you know, a serious deck to worry about. And with this being a 0-power character, I can understand why they don't want to use this, because it could just get bottom decked so easily. But that's kind of fine, right? I'd rather you bottom deck this card rather than my aces and my my Luffy's, right? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, back to the deck. I still think this is a really cool deck. I think it's made very well. I don't quite get the Three Brothers Bond as a one of. I would almost rather this be a one of Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. What else? It's running 10 2K counters, 4 Satori, 4 Hiyori, and 2 Yamato. And it's running, you know, what is it, 16 of the brothers, you know, 8 aces altogether, 1 blue, 1 yellow, and then 8 of the 2 yellow Luffy's. I wonder, like, in the future, it probably needs one more Sabo card. But what I was going to say is I'm surprised they don't want to run Sabo at all. Like, because there is a 4-cost Sabo that instead of hitting a 4 or less, it hits a 5 or less. However, it does come at the cost of getting rid of your last card. Or excuse me, not your last card, getting rid of a life card. So that maybe that's why. Because one thing about this deck is it doesn't really gain life. Like, that's one thing I really want to stress. Because of how this leader effect is worded, you have to trash all cards in your life at the end of turn. So it's not that it's gaining life. You're just setting up your life card to benefit from your 2-cost guys down here. You see what I'm saying? But yeah. The 2 Red Rock, that makes sense to deal with, because I think in OP07, there's going to be quite a few just huge monster cards like Gecko Moria, the new 10-cost Ace coming out, which I'm surprised this deck's not running that. Now, I know you cannot search it up with Garp, but still, the new Ace card is incredible. You know, in a deck like this, where you get down to like your last life, or, you know, or you have no cards left in life, it sure would be nice to just play out Ace, the 10-cost Ace, and smash something for 10k. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems good to me, but again, I don't know a ton about this. Excuse me. I've only seen a few games, you know, from random YouTubers. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have any footage for you guys today. Like, I don't have any gameplay footage because we don't even have access to these cards yet. The new Ace, the new Luffy, and the new Boa Hancock. But overall, I will say this. This was, like, out of the 3 brothers, this one was my least favorite one. And I think it's because of the leader effect. This leader effect is very usable. You can definitely benefit from this, especially now that we have the 5-cost, the extra 5-cost Ace here, and the extra 5-cost Luffy. Now it has enough targets to where you can probably consistently hit something in life. But before, I just don't think it had enough consistency. And yeah, that's really about it. And again, compared to the other brothers, I'm not as big a fan. Because Sabo, you know, he just, you know, as long as you have a character on the board, you can basically gain life. Unless it's like a really low-cost character, obviously. Excuse me. So you're constantly gaining life with red, yellow Sabo. And with black, yellow Luffy, you're actually gaining 2 life at a time. Now, yeah, the way that deck functions is you're losing life pretty much immediately when you get it, so that you can generate more advantage that way. But the black, yellow card pool and the red, yellow card pool, I'm a big fan of. Whereas for Ace here, blue, yellow, I don't know what it is. Okay, let me just say it like this. It kind of reminds me of how I felt about Rebecca when blue-black Sakazuki just took over. Like, if I'm going to run a blue-black, you know, control variant style deck, however you want to say that, you know, removal type of deck, why would I run Rebecca over Sakazuki? That became the unfortunate mindset. And I'm not saying I wanted it to be that way. It was just an unfortunate mindset that happened because of how powerful Sakazuki was. Well, with Ace, I get the same feeling with Blue Yellow Queen, where it's like, okay, you know, with Blue Yellow Queen, I'm not limited to these 5-cost characters. And in fact, I get to open up, you know, to all the yellow and blue cards that are specifically good. You know, cards that gain life by themselves. Cards, and I can gain life off my leader's effect, even though it's a little more, there's a little more restrictions than there are on this Ace card. But again, you're not even gaining life with this card. You're trying to gain value through your life with this card. So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad deck. You know, just to be, you know, full clarity, this is not a bad deck. I actually think it's very solid. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm done rambling. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.